Okay, so today is the second last bit of this that we're going to do with our polynomials. So far we've just looked at pretty much all looked at cubics. So powers of 3, and this is no different. This is powers of 3. Then next lesson we'll look at other powers. So on your work plan, this is called families. All right. So yeah, sometimes people like to use confusing language. So a family is just something that's connected by in some way. So hit this one here. Here's the family. There's this form, and what could change this A out the front here could change. So it could be a 1, a 2, a 5, or whatever, and then that's a whole family because this bit's the same. But really, what a more real or accurate's a better word, thing is it's finding the rule. So we're given, in this case, we're given that the rule takes this form. It goes through this point. So for something with this point that goes through that, what's A got to be? So let's have a look and see how we go. So what we know is that when x is 3, we know that y is 10. And so we then go that 10 equals a bracket 3 minus 2 cubed plus 2. So 10 equals a. 3 minus 2, I believe, should be 1. Whoops, 1 cubed plus 2. 1 cubed is 1, so a plus 2. Take 2 from both sides. So a is 8. So find the value of a, which we found is 8. And then so for this particular one, it would be 8. X minus 2 cubed plus 2. And so for that equation, the line would go through 3 and 10. All right, so sometimes we're given a form. So we'll look at the next one. Again, we're given a form. But this time there's 2 things we don't know. And because there's 2 things we don't know, there's 2 points we're given. So we do the same kind of thing as we did before. So when x is 1, y or f of x is 16. And so what we do is we say then that 16 is equal to a times 1 cubed plus b times 1. So 16 equals a plus b. And then when we use the next one, 2 and 30, so it's equal to 30 when x is 2. So 32 cubed is 8. And so there's an equation. All right, now we solve those 2 simultaneously. And this is because there's 2, you could be expected to do this by hand. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the trusty calculator. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before, but just in case I haven't. So on our calculator, if you go to the keyboard, there's this one right here, the bracket with some boxes. Now, this is the simultaneous equations solver template. So if you go into there, and this first one is 16 equals a plus b. Now we can use a plus b, but you a and b, go to the var if you want to do that. All right. So 16 equals a plus b. And then the other equation, this one, we go down in here. So down button, so 30 equals. Then the good thing with the simultaneous equation solver is that the equations don't have to be in any particular form. They can be, as long as you've got an equation, you can do it. All right, then at the end here, you'll notice here I've put a comma b, so sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not. I just always put it in just in case. And then you go exe, and there we go. A is negative third, and b is 49 on 3. So A was negative 1/3, and B was 49 on 3. Let's just check, make sure I've got that right. Yep. All right, so find the AUs of A and B. There it is. So if we were to write that out in the equation form, we'd go then fx equals negative 1/3 x cubed plus 49 on 3x. And all right, that's that. Now, sometimes we might be given a graph like this one. So with this graph, we've got some information. So we can read off the graph, we can find some intercepts. And these are going to be really handy. Because here, for x is equal to -1, if I take 1 from both sides, or add 1 I should say, x plus 1 is 0. And the one here where x is 2, take 2 from both sides. So we're working backwards here from like the null factor law. All right, so this helps us find our factors. So our factors, whoops, should have done it here. Factors, well, x plus 1 is a factor. The other one, x minus 2. Now, when we go to this 2 one, this one here, we notice that there's a stationary point, turning point here on the axis. All right. So when there's a repeated factor, which this is, so that's a turning point on the axis means repeated factor. So it's going to be x minus 2 squared. So what have we got? I'm going to use f. I'm just going to use y. So y equals, we've got the x plus 1, we've got the x minus 2 squared, and that's good because we've got an x here, and when we there square it, we've got our cubed. But there could be some sort of dilation, so I'm just going to put an a there to say that that's our dilation. Now, we've got 2 other bits of information here. We've got this point, and we've got our y-intercept. So we've actually now got more information than what we need, because we only need to use one of those bits of information to find the a. And I'm going to use the y-intercept because the y-intercept, the x value is 0. Whoops, that last bit's not correct. The x value is 0. In this case, the y value is 2. So if I put those numbers in here, so 2 equals a times 0 plus 1 times 0 minus 2 squared. So 2 equals a times 1, so don't forget that's times in here, times negative 2 squared. So 2 equals a times 1 times 4. So 2 equals a times 4. Divide by 4 both sides. cancel there, and that is a half. All right, so our equation then is y equals 1/2 x plus 1 times x minus 2 squared. So there's our equation. So taking information from the graph. Now, as I said, you could have used this point here. All right, that would be fine. You would still get the same answer. We've just got more information than we actually need here with this. All right, one more. And this is the last type of question you could get. So we just got the general form ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. And then we're given some points. But we're given this in this function form, right? So this first one here, what that means is that when x is 1, it goes through 0. All right, so that's our f of 1 equals 0. So if I do make that, that's f of 1 is 0, so that's 0 equals a times 1 squared plus b times 1, oops, cubed there, squared here, plus c times 1 plus d. 0 equals a plus b plus c plus d. All right, the next one I'm going to use is the 2 and -7. Whoops. So it's equal to -7 when x is 2. So it's a times 2 cubed plus b times 2 squared plus c times 2 plus d. So -7, 8a plus 4b plus 2c plus d. All right, 4 and 27. So f of 4 equals 27. So 27 equals a times 4 cubed plus b times 4 squared plus c times 4 plus d. So 27 equals 8. Come back to that one. All right, 4 cubed to 4 cubed, 64. So 64a, that is. So 4 4s are 16 times 4. Yes, it's 64. All right, there's another equation. Then we've got f of 5 equals 80. So f of 5 is equal to 80. So 80 equals a times 5 cubed plus b times 5 squared plus c times 5 plus d. So 80 equals 125a plus 25b plus 5c plus d. Alrighty, so now we've put all that information in. Now we have 4 equations. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we need to solve. Now, even next year in year 12, you're not going to be expected to solve simultaneous equations with this number of unknowns. So, calculator. Here's our calculator. Oh, let's squeeze her over here. Let's see if I can just squeeze it there. All right, so go back to our math one. It's this one here. Now, we've got 4. There's only 2 lines there. So if I click again now, there's a 3rd line. Click again now, there's 4 lines. So let's go up the top. The top one is 0 equals. Let's go to our variables. We've got to go to these variables, this A, B, C. Right, this is not going to work for you. You've got to go to this one, the variables one. So A plus B plus C plus D. You'll notice this is not a QWERTY keyboard. It's alphabetical order. The next one down, -7. So when there's a negative at the front, always use this one down here in the brackets. -7 equals 8 lots of A plus 4 lots of B plus 2 lots of C plus a D. Then the next one, this one here, 27. 27 equals 64 lots of A, 16 lots of, not 16 lots of B, 4 lots of C and D. And then the last one, 80 equals 125 lots of A. So these numbers too are not numbers that you would like to be doing by hand either. When you can do it, it's not that difficult. You've got all the skills, but it's just, you know, time consuming and lots of, you know, opportunities for errors. All right, what do we want to know? Well, we want to know all of them. We want to know A, we want to know B, we want to know C, and we want to know D. EXE, bingo, there we go. 1, 1, 7, -17, and 15. All right, so A equals 1. 1, B equals 1, C was -17, I think. Let's just zip back here. Yep, and D's 15. All right, so our equation then should have gone back to my blue, is that our function of x is equal to x cubed plus x squared minus 17x plus 15. And there is our equation. Alrighty. So that's all it is. You've done this stuff before with quadratics and finding parabolas and stuff like that. So same idea. Get your information, put it in, and then solve for the values that you need to find. Okay, as always, have fun, and if you need help, get back to me.